Here in downtown Charleston, I'm visiting with Molly Thompson, who lives now at the James Brown House. Molly, you've been here since the mid-90s. What was here when you came?
The boxwood, which are all the round bushes, the big crepe myrtle, and the big holly right on the sidewalk at the front of the garden.
Now, the boxwoods appropriately have some historical reverence. Tell me where they came from originally.
They were purchased from the nurseries at Mount Vernon. They are from George Washington's boxwood stock.
Well, and since he made many stops here in Charleston, I think that's appropriate that they're here. But also, when you came, y'all had an idea of making this a very functional garden. So tell me how you went about doing that.
Well, first of all, we treated the plants like furniture, like chairs. We lined all the boxwood up along the back wall for about 6 months or so. Built the stucco building between the houses, and then went to work on the garden with the hardscape and moving things around.
The garden has a very structural element to it that's accomplished by the use of really just two types of trees.
Yes. Well, Charleston gardens are external rooms. So we have either 2 or 3 rooms, whichever way you want to look at it. We have a front room, we have a back room, and then we have this area which can be patio. It's the driveway turnaround. It's where we put the crab cakes when we have parties.
And in the front, as you walk in, you have a beautiful water feature, and your husband made that quite a puzzle. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the fountain actually belonged to him and was in our house in Indiana. It was a birthday present to him. And when we brought it here, he created on his trusty computer a puzzle maze around the fountain. So there are circles and pathways around the fountain, but they are a puzzle maze with restrictions, with requirements, etc. And you can go 2 ways, and you must get all 8 points of the central Maltese cross.
I think your husband had a cute sense of humor, and the very handsome wrought iron hanging pot containers he chose for a certain purpose.
Oh, absolutely. He was not a mint julep person, but the idea was you would get your libation of choice either in the kitchen or at the bar, and then you would wander down the piazza and pick your mint to go into it. And each variety is different, and they're very distinctive.
And then in the back, the room here is anchored by a type of cherry.
Yes, Clemson cherries. Several reasons. Beautiful blooms in spring. We have pink clouds followed by pink snow. But also the bark is beautiful. The trees are beautifully shaped, and the bark alone is very beautiful.
It is. And then in several times of the year, you have a very important collection of noisette roses that give you beautiful blooms and add color.
Yes, the original Charleston rose was 1800. The Noisette brothers, through the 19th century, developed the class of noisette roses. And we have a big bloom in April, a big bloom in October, and some of the bushes produce blooms at odd times or maybe all the time in between.
One rose that really blooms almost all the time is not in the noisette class, but it has such an interesting history that you've made a place for it.
Well, it's sort of a one-bush jungle. It is a polyantha. It's a sweetheart rose, Cecile Bruner, but it was given to me by a wonderful, wonderful gardener, local legend, Lucille McLennan, who is, I think, in her 90s now.
Oh, way in her 90s.
But as recognition of some of her accomplishments, she was given 2 rose bushes from the sweetheart rose at the Gallier House in New Orleans. And she kept one and gave one to us.
And then as we look back through the Clemson cherries, you have a beautiful feature back there, and some of the things that we see there, the hardscape features, were found on the property.
More in the property. The stones, the capstone and the access lids that we have part of the hardscape are from the cisterns that are under the garage. So they were actually kind of underground.
Isn't that funny? And then you've got a mounting block that you found here too, I think.
Yes, we dug that up. We also have a cannonball that we dug up.
Oh my Lord. like many people who come here, my mind is overwhelmed by all the beauty that's here. And you've been very kind to gardeners because you have labels in pots.
That is mostly being kind to me because I am constitutionally incapable of remembering plant names. I can look at a petunia and call it a pea thing.
Well, I believe that many parties have taken place here. Many people have come and been made to feel welcome. And you have certainly made us, for making it grow, feel very welcome here today. Thank you for sharing this garden that you actually come out with scissors and work on yourself.
Well, of course, but I'm an old lady. I don't do the hard work anymore. I have young, strong people who do that. But it is very idiosyncratic. It is very definitely my garden.
Well, I'm glad you put your stamp on it. I like the way you do things.
Thank you so much, and you're very welcome to come back again anytime you'd like.